No one was a bigger Scrooge this year than. Hey everyone, what is up? It is your girl Liv. Welcome to Vlogmas, Podmas, whatever you want to call this. Today's episode, we are going to be talking about the Battle of the Eras Tour tickets, Ticketmaster, and who the real Scrooge of the year was. So make sure you hit that follow, subscribe, or like button for more content. And with that, let's get started with today's episode. Weirdly enough, the last weekend my dad, my sister, and I spent together was the Eras Tour weekend. Music really does bring the family around. As I have said before, one of the last conversations my dad and I ever had was how you should always buy the concert tickets. And I was the one in charge of getting the concert tickets. I am your Ticketmaster concert war friend. Maybe it's because I'm a Virgo, I don't know. But I digress. No one was a bigger Scrooge this year, Grinch this year than Ticketmaster. And as someone who has always been the friend to get the concert tickets, this year put every other year in the past to shame. I will say I was not around to try to get One Direction tickets, so I don't know if it was easier or harder than getting Eras Tour tickets. I did end up getting Oasis tickets, weirdly enough, to one of their shows, but that was harder than Taylor Swift, for sure. Anyway, Ticketmaster, we all know how they've been this year with the extra fees, just the inflated ticket prices, which have absolutely been utterly insane. Now, I will say we got tickets to Taylor Swift show in Tampa, and those tickets were with fees were like $206 a pop for, I think we ended up we had club level seats, which were great, but it has just gotten so out of hand with these ticket price inflations. And I feel like the one thing that we have to talk about in terms of why concert tickets are getting so expensive, part of it is because of Ticketmaster. They have, if you go online, you can look and it'll say like platinum ticket. That's just them making more money. And I got tickets to Vampire Weekend, and for example, the pre-sale, the tickets were all like $300. And then they opened up the regular general sale and they were like $130. So, or something like that. And I still thought that was like kind of steep, but again, it is what it is. It was worth every dollar we pay to go. But the thing about it is music has obviously, as we know, substantially changed in how artists are getting paid. And the issue now with digital media is artists can get like 100,000 streams and get paid like 48 cents. So the amount of money that artists are making now, if they do not count their tours in, is significantly less than what it has been. Because before you had to spend $8 on an album, or back then, I don't know, like $10, $15 on a record. And back then, you either listened to an artist on the radio, you went to their concert, which you paid like $20 for, or you bought their physical album media. And I think that, yes, part of the reason why concerts are now getting so expensive is because of Ticketmaster, but also the other aspect is like something like the Taylor Swift, her tour, like you have to have 2 stages, just the logistics and everything that goes around it. Yes. It costs a lot of money to put on that level of production. Therefore, you have to set tickets accordingly. And the other aspect too is Ticketmaster, the way tours are going on, they're killing a lot of these smaller venues in fees to be able to have the talent that they want to be able to come and perform. And that's a whole other conversation. But artists can have 30 million streams and they're not making $30 million off of those streams. They might make, I don't say like $10,000, but the amount of money that they're making per play is significantly less than what it was before. And when, for example, Apple Music came out, or not Apple Music, but when the iPod came out with Apple, you had to either A, physically have the album, put it onto your computer, and inventory it that way, or you could go to the iTunes store and physically buy, not physically, but digitally buy that artist's album. And now with all of these streaming platforms, it is not like that. And because of that process, artists aren't making money like they used to in those terms. Like merch is still a big thing. Physical media, like physically purchasing the CDs, the albums, those things count a lot. But I love Spotify. I have friends who have Apple Music. They're just not getting the money that they should be from those platforms. And because of that, now touring really is the bread and butter with how artists make money, unless you end up getting deals for commercial music. So I don't know, AT&T will pay you $100,000 to be able to play your song in their commercial and whatnot. And because of that, and because of inflation, I think that's one of the main reasons why ticket prices are kind of starting to creep up and be what they are. And also, with you being able to buy a $200 ticket and flip it and make $5,000, that is another aspect as well, because now, as we know, like, you don't just have people paying who really want to go see the concert. You have scalpers, and again, I know that's how they make their money, and I'm not knocking the hustle, but I just feel like greed and capitalism has just gotten to the point where people will go online, they'll buy a $500 floor ticket and sell that same ticket for $8,000, and people again will pay it because Ticketmaster allows them to, these other resale sites allow them to, and then it kind of starts setting the tone for everyone else to do it, and there really isn't any like rules or regulations or control in that. And it's just crazy because you'll talk to people who are like my parents' age, who are like, yeah, I went and saw what, maybe like Def Leppard or Kiss, and it was like $15, which back then is probably the equivalent, if you calculate inflation, is still probably like $30, $50 today's money, but it's nowhere near $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. Now, I know that even in our parents' age, like, there were artists like the Rolling Stones who you're going to pay a couple $1,000s if you want to see them front row up close. But the average person could still afford to go to see some of these artists and whatnot play. And it is just, again, it's insane. I know that there's a lot of things that go into touring, the costs, how we calculate things, but overall, Ticketmaster, I think we can agree, it's just, it's taking it to another level, because why is a service fee $50 for a $100 ticket? And that, I think, is what more so really grinds people's gears. Yes, there's like surge dynamic pricing where like they'll adjust it according to the demand. Ed Sheeran didn't do that. We saw Ed Sheeran on the floor for like $130 in Tampa, which was insane. Love him to death. But no one was a bigger Scrooge this year than Ticketmaster, for sure. And they ruined our lives. They ruined a lot of people's lives this year. A lot of people had dreams. They had Eras tickets on their Santa Claus list. And Scrooge said, screw you. Yeah, it's cute that you want to take your 8-year-old to Taylor Swift. Yeah, that's not happening. That's not in the budget, fam. So it is just, again, it's interesting how not Christmas, but just like the music and industry, how much things have like changed over the year. And, yeah, this year, like I keep saying as if I went to the Eras tour, I'm trying to think like, okay, what were all the concerts that I went to this year? Because compared to the year before, I really didn't go to that many concerts. I saw Passion Pit, I saw Vampire Weekend, and I saw Dan and Shay. If I did see any other concerts, right now, I can't remember. And I'm usually a pretty good fiend. But the year before, I saw a bunch of people. And all I can say is that if my favorite band does not go on tour next year, I'm going to riot. But anyway, music does make the world go round. I think we all, like, Beyonce, I know. Did Beyonce, was she on tour this year too? There are so many tours that, like, for example, I don't know if Beyonce added a leg, but I know like Taylor Swift ended up adding a leg. I know Sabrina Carpenter like went on tour this year. So there were some really good people. I don't know, as far as, I have like one concert on the list for next year, and that is Oasis. I don't know who else I'm going to see. Usually I feel like the tour schedules announcements usually start, I feel like, in early spring. So we'll see who announces their tours next year. And I will say though, that is the interesting thing that I find about Tampa, is because of our weather. Like, normally you have people who are like mainly tour in summer, but then if they're obviously doing not amphitheaters, but they're like not like a stadium, but if they're doing like an MSG type arena, I guess is what they call them, they can like kind of tour over winter. But I'm really not certain about anyone else. I just know that I'm very much a big music fiend, but also at the same time, this year has been I would say this year for me was like my sit out year. It was like a riding year. I had to focus on running the New York City Marathon and grad school. So I'm hoping that next year is going to be my year, is what I'm naming, claiming, declaring it. I don't really care. But I think with how this year went, I need to go to more concerts next year. And maybe that's why I wasn't as happy this year, and why I was happier last year, even with my dad dying, is because I got to go to more concerts. And concerts make the world go round, in my personal opinion. And also, don't be a Scrooge and don't be Ticketmaster is the message that I'm going to leave with every one of you for the rest of the day. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know in the comments below who you are wanting to see on tour, or who were some of the best concerts that you've been to or people you've seen in concert. And with that being said, put some jingle in your jangle. Bye.